Page 206, Qal Passive. I want to talk about this. Actually, I don't want to talk so much about the Qal Passive conjugation as I do about the Qal Passive participle, which may or may not be related to each other. This is one other great mystery, and I hope in my discussion of this I haven't confused the issue. There is, let's go to section 5. I think I mentioned in section 4 that there used to be a Qal Passive conjugation that's now defunct. I'm going to talk about that again very soon, but not right now. Okay? What we need to consider is that there is a Qal Passive participle that lies next to the regular participle that we learned way back when in the Qal. All right? And I've hidden this from you not to confuse you into thinking that all conjugations can have an active and a passive participle. How many participles are there for every conjugation? Have you ever thought about this? For every conjugation, we've learned one participle. Is it active or passive? No. The answer to that question is, it depends on the conjugation. Okay? So the Qal has one participle. Is it active or passive? Passive. Not because it's a passive participle, but because it's a participle of a passive conjugation. Do you hear the difference? The Pal and the Hifil have one participle, right? Is it active or passive? It's active because, not because there's an active and a passive participle, because it's a participle of an active conjugation. Do you hear the difference? Now, as it turns out, in the Qal conjugation, there are in fact two participles, an active and a passive participle. Okay? And we now have to consider the fact that the active participle, which you learned a long time ago, remember the active Qal participle? This was one of the first things we learned. Can you read blue? Is green stand? I keep changing my colors here. Blue's better than green, but red's better than them both. What's the Qal participle? It is, remember this? Cotail, right? What's the plural of cotail? Co-talim. And then we had our four forms. We had the feminine, which was co-taloth, and we had that funny form over here, which was co-tellet on the mountain. Okay. Now, draw a line in the sand, and we're going to look at the fact that there is also a Qal passive participle. Okay? And like the active participle, it has four forms. Okay? And here's the first form. Not cotail, but catul. You just have to learn this one. Here's a form you just have to learn. Catul. Write it, say it, learn it. Catul. Okay. If you want help remembering this, okay, you might call to mind the fact that there is a famous biblical name that is in fact the form of the Qal passive participle. The man's name is Baruch. All right, who was Baruch? Do you know who this was? This was Jeremiah's scribe. All right, and he refers to him by his name Baruch. All right. Now, what does Baruch mean? What's the verbal root behind Baruch? Barak. And since it's a passive participle and Barak means bless, what does Baruch mean? Blessed or blessed. All right, that was the guy's name. All right. I say this not to confuse you, but if you can remember the vowels and the sounds of Baruch, you hear the ah, oo of catul, and you remember what the Qal passive participle sounds like. Okay? There are four forms of this, to be sure. Okay? And they are, in fact, what you would expect. What's the plural of katul? Katul. And we're going to add what to it? We're going to add im. How many syllables do we have now? How many syllables did we have in katul? How many do we have in katulim? Once we get the 3 syllables, this is a good review, isn't it? Propretonic, tonic, a pretonic. I said that backwards, didn't I? Tonic, pretonic, propretonic. What's going to happen to this comets in an open propretonic syllable? It's going to go to schwa. Kitulim. Guess what the feminine is? Kitula. And the plural, kitulo. All right, this actually makes sense. No tricks. Okay? When you